Hello and welcome. This is Brentwood Stories. I'm DJ.
I'm Sam, and welcome, Margarita.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yes,
No
thank you
problem.
for coming.
Yeah, so let's start with you introducing yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I'm Margarita Espada. I'm the artistic founder of Teatro Yerbabruja. Yerbabruja is a theater and art organization. We use the art as a tool for social change. The Yerbabruja is a plant that grows in Puerto Rico and also in the Caribbean. They have it's a medicine and also have this it's very resistant to change and very strong. So it's a symbolic name for resistance of keep going and healing properties.
That's amazing. Okay, so before we start talking about your organization, because I definitely want to talk about that, I was reading a little bit about you. So you went to school in Puerto Rico and then you came here for your master's degree. So can you tell us what that kind of was like and what it was like growing up in Puerto Rico?
Yes, I grew up in Puerto Rico and I went to college in Puerto Rico. My background is in theater and education. So I grew up, I was born in the center of the island. It's very like a kind of Long Island, very like a green, a lot of mountain rivers, very like relaxing. But I grew up later in the city in San Juan, around communities are very diverse also, and just as like a city. When I came here, it was a big change. It's like Long Island is very segregated. It's different. Like I'm used to have everything together, so it was a big change. But also, I was a great opportunities. I was a Turner Fellow, so I did an MFA of Fulbright at Stony Brook University, and I'm now teach at Stony Brook University also, which is great to be in the same place. And for at that time, my English was not so strong. It's a little better now, but so for me, language is important. So Stony Brook and also in these communities, and it's impact my work to work on people, beyond the language and building that sense of community. Because I know that place also. So it's so important what I do is to be sure that everyone feel welcome and feel like they belong to the community and to the programs.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Let's hear a little bit about your background with schooling. So, yeah, you received your bachelor's in Puerto Rico and then you did your master's in Stony Brook. So what was like the difference between schooling there and schooling here?
Other than it being a bachelor's to master's degree.
Let's say, well, our education in Puerto Rico is a mix of a European from Spain, like very more universal. Like we study like all Latin America, we study US, we study all these countries in Europe. When I came here, I was shocking. It's very a more American center. It's more about the perspective is more like from my perspective more narrow. It's very specific about what happened in American theater, or they call American theater. The whole concept of America was very shocking for me because for us in Latin America, like America is a continent, so we are all part of America. So here for me was American theater. I was thinking Latin America. What part of America you're talking? So but for Stony Brook, when I was taking that class, it was only like I don't know, Broadway, American theater. So that was a big shocking how the definition of the continent had become this a big name from the US part of view. I want to say limited is very the narrow is the focus is different. It's more focusing in American history, in the old perspective. Our education, I guess, it's more global education. It's more open to understand and to know what's going on globally. Here, I feel is sometimes limited people to see or to understand through that small filters of what is just focused in America. So I needed to really reshape my mind to reshape a specific what was the meaning of that concept. Also, I went to my university in Puerto Rico. It's a city university, so you go out, you have bars and you drink and you eat and you have a bohemian night and you meet a lot of artists. I was astonished, which is totally isolated. By then, it's better now, but there was no transportation. So international student was hard because basically the campus was not a lot of activity for students. It was good for me as a grad student because you need to study a lot. So that part is no distraction, no a minimum distraction. But also it's a big challenge, because you feel very isolated. Now they did a better job now, so they have a lot of boost system. They take students not only to around Suffolk County, but also to the city. It's more activities. So that was another big challenges. And also the language, switching from one language to the other, not only just to learn the language, but also the cultural expressions, like how, language is beyond like written and talk. It's about all the filters, how you see and perceive reality. So that's something was very different for me. But also the beauty about the land. No, it's so much green here, so much time to relax. It was really shocking for me, but also I'm learning and I have more appreciation now to have that rhythm of life. Like it's more like relaxing here. So I became a Long Islander again.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
No, I definitely know what you mean about the college. Like I went to college here, obviously, but I visited my friend recently and she goes to school in Canada. And it was like going to a college town is so different there than like here.
Oh yeah.
It's I went to like a real fraternity house and I was like, this is what you see in the movies. I don't see that on Long Island.
For example, if you go to NYU, it's like if you see NYU, so it's around everything. So it's something like that, you are in and out. And it's good because also at the same time as we also experience the community and the life of the city. Because the issue of some of the challenges with the American system is very isolated. So you just stay in a campus and you just like don't really, and that's the challenge because now you have the students wanting to do internship, and it's always the conversation of how we bring community into universities and how we bring the community at the university out. So that's a big problem with Long Island. I would say also a large, but let's talking about where we are now. And that's a problem is always how you bring these two universe, which is like you are getting an education and some point you need to integrate yourself to the community as a professional. So I think we should do a better job. So in Puerto Rico it's different because all the campuses is the same. Let's say like a SUNY system, we have Puerto Rican university system. They are in different part of the island. So still it's so connecting to the community that is always like different community program, or you're doing research in a hospital or with the water or with the farm, but it's just there, So that was also a big difference. And for me, and I was so isolated. So what I did, I was like, oh my God, at Stony Brook, I was part of the international program. So like, who speaks Spanish here? I was not aware about Brentwood. So someone told me, oh my, do you know it's a Latino community in Brentwood? Like, I went here to, I discovered like I needed to eat my food. So I discovered Brentwood as a student, that I having my little trip to Brentwood community. Without knowing in the future, there was, a big change in my life that I would be serving this community a lot.
Oh yeah.
And we're so happy that you do. I definitely want to hear about your organization because I know you incorporate theater, and I was a huge theater nerd when I was in high school. So I'm like very excited to hear about it.
Before we get to that, though,
sorry,
I have a question I am a little bit curious about, because you had talked about with the language and finding like people who spoke Spanish around here. At what age did you start learning English?
Well, we in Puerto Rico, you learn English in kindergarten.
Oh,
we are part of US. It's really bad,
I mean,
we never
yeah.
like really learn a real language, but like reading for us is not a problem, obviously, but we don't practice. It's better now with technology and everything.
Yeah.
But in my generation, it's always like also it's kind of imposed, like, oh, you need to learn language in order to be someone, So that was like, ooh, and the teacher will like. So we learn language, but afraid, that was my experience. And I think it's experience of a lot of people that learn the language, but it's incorporated in our system for everyone in Puerto Rico since you are in kindergarten. So everyone in Puerto Rico understands some level or layer of English language. Obviously, when you come here, it's different. And now, you are really need to pick the language and use it on the regular basic. But in that way, that's easy because it's not new for us, So it's easy to grab in. And also, like I'm from Puerto Rico, so a lot of people are Puerto Rican first or second generation here. It's a big difference also how we see ourselves. Being Puerto Rican from Puerto Rico is something different, and like directly different from New Yorican. So that was also a great experience for me to experience that. Like, oh, you don't look Puerto Rican. Like, what do you mean? For some people, like, I'm Puerto Rican. So for me to make that distinction, I'm Puerto Rico from the island, I'm Puerto Rican from Puerto Rico. People, because the reference that people have from the Puerto Rican communities are New Rican or first or second generation of Puerto Rican. Also, sometimes the perception of this generation about Puerto Rico is different because they know Puerto Rico through the grandparents or through the parents. So, or they go to visit in summer, or they go to visit maybe every couple of years. So they don't really know necessarily. Obviously, this is a generalization, but the experience is like they don't really. And I do the parade, that. So that's what I see, like we don't need a parade. We don't need, because we are Puerto Rico, so we don't feel like that. But I learn a lot, and I have a lot of appreciation for the Puerto Rican community here to hold into our culture and to build that history. Also.
Very nice.
So I don't know if I responded, but I guess I will.
No,
Yeah,
you
no, perfect.
responded.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going back to my question.
Yeah, back to your question.
The theater. Oh yes, I love it.
Theater.
But my background is theater. That's what I study. My research is more in actor training, which means like obviously theater is a big umbrella. I always serve my people and my students. So, and that's what I did in Puerto Rico. I used to have a theater in Puerto Rico, and I was a high school teacher in Puerto Rico doing theater. Our first company in Puerto Rico was created in 1990, and it was Teatro Yerbabruja, actually. That what I was also keeping my name because already I have a history. So I don't want it just to disappear with my brand and my career when I switch here to live here. But I'm more an actress and later become a director. And I love more like performing art. That's my thing. Obviously, my full training is traditional, for Eurocentric perspective. But I also study or kind of anthropology theater. We study performance and energy on stage, and we go from Indian theater, African theater, Chinese theater, how or just my performing energy, how we communicate in a no everyday life, how we tell stories. So in general, we people know here it's more Eurocentric, like from the Greek on. But theater, is older, like from Chinese perspective. Or for the Indian, theater is related to religion, it's related to the everyday life. It's not only entertainment like it is for us. Well, I love performing arts because I'm devising theater that we create stories and putting together. I love to work with objects and manipulate and develop language on stage, which is like semiotic of theater. How is everything have a meaning, and what happens is I switch that meaning. Is that like a cup now is my my hat. So how that symbol switch according to the use that we use create on stage. So that's like what I really love to do, and I love to integrate with multimedia and body movement. So I train a lot in mask training, Lecoq system. I studied in Paris. That was part of my research. I'm just saying, just building and creating, and I think what theater also teach me about and teach actors is to discover yourself. How you can create a character if you don't know you, because you are the tool to create a character. So that I love to train actors. That's something that is so magic, for that perspective. And I do theater, in schools. I working with Brentwood School District. I have a theater company there, a theater for social justice with new immigrant students that speak Spanish. And that I found that with new immigrants come to the school districts because they don't speak the language, they don't have access to the art in the same way that a student that speak English. So there was for me a big issue, and also in a process of like the school wanted to integrate them. The cause is they need to forget who are they. So the language disappear and they become a very identity crisis. So the idea like you don't need to forget who you are. You need to embrace your culture. Language is a beautiful, big, gigantic language with a lot of writers, Nobel Prize, so beautiful. But sometimes in the process they don't know and they feel less because they impose off the English language. So we wanted to, yes, that's great. You keep going with your education. We love that. But also let's have fun. Let's learn your language. So I integrate my theater program with the Spanish language art and curriculum base. So what they're studying in the classroom, we do in after school, and we put a show which is in Spanish and is the only show in Spanish for the Latino community in Brentwood School District.
That's amazing.
That's one another part of what I do.
No, I mean, that's great. Like I can only imagine attempting to come to a school not speaking the language and then never getting to speak my home language. That would be such an identity crisis. So that's such an amazing thing that you do with the kids.
Yeah.
And you know how important it is, because you know that identity, you know, you're building your identity, especially as a teenager, you know how hard it is. So some of the issues that I see is because it's, you know, they lose the path, they get lost into. So it is important to remind them, you know, who you are, so you can, you know, do better.
And theater itself just really shapes you as a person. Like I used to not talk, which is ridiculous because now I obviously talk a lot.
Yeah, that's another good point. Also, obviously, because acting. So in a production, you know, if they don't want it to act, they work behind the scene. You know, it's a lot of work that needs to be done, like, you know, costume design, set design, prop. It's a lot of work. They also have that opportunity, also training them in sound and light system. But to be on stage, that require a lot of like, you know, like exercises, right talking, and I'm very rigid with discipline and structure. And sometimes our students don't have that because, you know, the journey that they have in this life. So it is very, very important. And they, you know, I have a good connection with them because, you know, I'm also coming from the place like, you know, yes, I had the privilege of education, but also I came from the community. I'm the first one to go to school, to college. So I also know struggling in life. So, you know, we can talk this and don't worry about it. I got you, though. I understand it hard, but I know what is hard. So it's also that that connection, it's the social connection, the cultural connection, so they can have with us. And they learn that the transformation is amazing, amazing, amazing. And you know, theater is a community. Theater is community. You need someone to push the button, you know, to the theater, you know, like come on. You need someone to help you with the costume. You need someone, you know, everyone. This is how I open my workshop. Like we are a community. It's like no one, because you're on stage, that mean that you are the best and, you know, prima donna, and vice versa. The people behind the scene, you know, sometimes they are like, you know, they want to run the production and the stage managers in a big stand, which is good, but you also need to respect the actor and the actress. So I try to build everyone responsibility and respect as a group and as a community. So that's great.
It really, I miss it all the time. So it really is. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was used to the background stuff. I did stage crew and playwriting. So.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yes,
no, it's a lot. I made the costumes one year. I bled so much with my hands that year.
I remember doing the set designs, and then the hardest part was moving the sets around after you make them.
No, exactly, and changing behind in between scenes and the cue and the line, and you wanted to be sure that, you know, that is perfect, that the people are not waiting 10 minutes for you to move one chair or something. You know what I mean? There need to be a timing and a rhythm in the production. So yes, we are now actually. I'm very happy because now we are in Brentwood. Was our pilot program. This is our third year now, and we have Westbury, and also we are now in Patchogue School District.
And Patchogue has a huge art scene too. Oh, yeah. They have the entire arts building. I know it's behind the library. So that's amazing.
Yeah, and the theater right in town too.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So other than theater, you recently partnered with the library and you get this bunch of archives and you're running the Puerto Rican Day Parade now. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. That's a program that is pretty close to my heart, but it was a surprise because, you know, I used to do theater, so connecting to the community and how I was an actress, that's what I was doing in my art company, and I became a cultural organizer here. You know, because something I was a theater producer, but organizing communities was a need that I saw. And I suddenly saw people like, oh, I'm a painter. Oh, I'm a dancer. Like, okay, you're in the company. Okay. I have out of his space. You can hand you painting, you know. So that was the beginning of Yerbabruja. I started in my own living room, in my own house, because when you're an artist, you need to do art or you die. So I was like, my living room was my backyard, everything. So the Yerbabruja become more than a theater company. And one day they just called me. The Adelante used to be the organization to run the parade. So there was no more capacity to run the parade. And the community said, hey, you are the person with culture and art, and you're Puerto Rican equal, you need to run the parade. I was like, I don't know to run the parade. This is different from theater production. But I saw the need, the history, and the awareness of how important in 1966 this group of Puerto Rican and one Dominican went and decided they wanted to celebrate our culture. So with the support of the community and the mentoring of the community, I did it for the first, second year. Now we are comfortable. It's been growing. I changed some of the mission because I'm also an activist. So for me, it was important as a moment of cultural pride celebration, but also as a community engagement. So I add a lot of like this aspect, no, not only just hey, it's a parade, just drink, dance, and so for me, like that's okay, but no, I think it's a great opportunity when you have people together to educate. I love to see the libraries there with the bank stuff, and we have clinics. We had different services at the same time that the people are really marching. That we have over 50,000 people, around there, and 3,000 people marching. So what a great opportunity! This is the biggest parade in Long Island, and the second biggest parade in the state of New York. So that's I was like, whoa, that's big. But with my leadership and all the support of all the different partners, because it's very complicated a parade as big as is this parade. We had, we need to have public safety is the main concern, obviously. And so we're big on that, from police, ambulance, fire department, to have that plan. Everything is nice until something happens. So it's a big responsibility that we really take very seriously, and very proud of the team that we have.
Yeah.
And then the other part is to bring people to celebrate. That's the behind the scenes, but people don't know that day of the parade and the last happy people. I'm stressed out because I'm all public safety and be sure that everything is fine. And we have other component. I'm happy to see people being happy, but I'm like, my head is like, nothing happened, everything is fine. So it is a main component, but it's so beautiful. I always, every year I cry because it's like, wow, that's the moment that people come out together as a one big community to integrate our serve with the flag and to honor also the Puerto Rican community that is a pioneer community of the Latino community in Long Island. And for me, it is important to keep that conversation alive. And that's why, I saw the opportunity to bring the records to the library for future generations. Sadly, a lot of pioneers, they're no longer with us. A lot of the records are being in different places. So this is a long-term project. And we have different places that we can put the archive, but I think Brentwood Library is the best place because I want it to be in the center of the community. Because that parade is from this community. I don't want it to be in, I don't know, a Stony Brook. I want it to be in our place that we go and it's there. That's important for us too.
And I have to say, like, we had a lot of patrons around the time of the parade talking about how excited they were for it. I was helping people make shirts for the parade. People got very involved, very excited, and we're so happy to be able to go out and celebrate it.
Yeah, and I think it was a great idea this year, opening that conversation, because what a great opportunity, people see and serve at the library, because we put a video for the last year parade. So people saw the video and people seeing art, and we kind of building up into the parade. So that's something that we wanted to keep doing, as a collaboration every year, that people can, and remind them, go and celebrate. So thank you so much for, inviting us and being there.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to help. I was happy to help support any way I could with all the people who came in. And again, it was a lot of fun making shirts with people and seeing them.
Yeah, that's great.
Go out.
So how was that? Making sure that you have a little workshop or?
We had the makerspace. We had like a t-shirt machine, laser engraver. Like we had a bunch of machines.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
didn't
but
know that.
patrons would bring t-shirts in and like the material, and we'd help them design it, and we'd make shirts with them.
Oh, I need to go because I have some machine here in my gallery and my art space, and that's something maybe it's a collaboration that we can train ourselves and vice versa. And I know that I can send people there. So that's something
yeah.
I want to know more.
100%.
Definitely send them over. We made t-shirts, bags, hats,
Yeah.
mugs.
We're working on a poster printer so we can make banners too.
Wow. When you guys open, and it's like, well, we can follow up later.
Well, makerspace is usually appointments just because it's me and DJ.
Obviously.
Us.
Also,
You guys.
we are the makerspace.
Yeah, we are the makerspace. the
Okay.
two of us.
Okay, I will follow up with an email to make an appointment.
Yes, definitely come visit us, and then we're gonna come visit you too.
Yeah.
Of course. Yes. We have actually, as part of the celebration, we have now a gallery show running until September 30. And the 29th, we are now opening Bohemian Night. So we want people, we have open mic in the last Friday of the month. But also we wanted to integrate the Spanish language. So we have the Noches de Bohemia. So everyone is invited, also the last Friday of the month. And talking about next month, we have an exhibition about wearable art, exactly what you guys are doing, t-shirt, people that you wear, but you create, but it's a piece of art. That is in October. So definitely we need to keep that connection.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for coming and talking to us. It's been a great interview.
This has been
I
great.
felt like I learned so much today.
No, thank you so much for that, for this opportunity to bring, the visibility is so important to, try different ways to really to keep building the conversation and building communities. And I hope that it's only the first time. I will be too many times working with you. And it's great because I really work with different people at the library. So it's been a pleasure to really meet you guys and know what you guys are doing.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Same for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah,
You too.
Are you interested in being interviewed on Brentwood Stories? Email adultprograms@brentwoodnylibrary.org for a chance to be featured on the podcast. That's adultprograms@brentwoodnylibrary.org.